Those of us who have been in narcissistic relationships most of our lives can either find that we are often emotionally dysregulated or overregulated. For me personally, I became extremely overregulated in my narcissistic relationships and therefore in life in general. I was like a pressure cooker, pushing so much down. If my emotions did spill out, as would happen from having to overmanage myself, pushing so much down so as to not activate the narcissist, I was deemed crazy or too sensitive and demonized by them to boot. And yes, I would become full-blown dysregulated from time to time, triggered by their own often unconscious dysregulation and blaming myself for all the fallout in the relationship as a result. It's a zero-sum game dynamic, as anyone knows who finds themselves in this type of relationship. I personally developed strategies to keep myself regulated, well, overregulated, by refusing to acknowledge my emotions, never mind my buried ones. This included my fervent use of meditation, yoga, and mindfulness practices. I was in full-on emotional bypass mode most of my life. I look back and think how these practices that kept me overregulated and safe actually blinded me from looking at the toxic emotional nature of my relationships. These practices kept me from even checking into my body to see how I was feeling. I was just managing, getting by. How awful to live this way. I was hiding from feeling what was here in myself, in my body. Not only hiding from feeling and identifying my surface emotions, but also definitely what was buried. There is a way to create some sanity in these relationships. Well, besides ideally avoiding these relationships altogether, which I realize is not always possible, and that is to identify what you are feeling in the moment and articulating it. As a caveat, though, this is not about sharing your feelings with the narcissist or anyone you don't deem as safe or trustworthy for you. There is a tool I teach called mind-body mirroring that regulates the nervous system, and this is so extremely helpful for emotionally regulating ourselves, especially in these turbulent relationships. Use of this foundational tool will regulate us